Do you feel like you're spinning your wheels, like finding clients should be easier, and you're feeling frustrated as to why your client roster just isn't growing? Well, in this episode, I'm going to walk you through the 5 stages of client attraction that I have seen so many coaches move through. And I'm going to share why I see the majority of those coaches get stuck in stage 2 and 3 and what you can do to move through them so you are successful at bringing in the dreamiest of clients as well. Welcome to the Best Damn Coach podcast. It is Amanda here once again with you again, excited to help you work on your client attraction strategy this week. I've studied my coaches seeking clients. I've studied hundreds of coaches over the years. I've studied myself. And I can look back on my own journey and find areas that I was kind of stuck and butting up against some things. And it wasn't until I got through that next thing that I really had some explosion and momentum happen in my business. And so I want to talk about in this week's episode the 5 stages of client attraction as through Amanda's eyes, as I see them. And this was inspired. I was on a coaching call with a client, and here's what she said. And I think this will be relatable for you. Amanda, I'm doing everything. I'm posting 3 times a week on the gram. I'm going to all these networking groups. I'm showing up on stories. I've even started this podcast, but I am still not getting clients. Like, what am I doing wrong? And she's a brand new member to the BDC. And so what we did, I needed to get into her business a little bit. I needed to see kind of what was happening. I went on her socials. I looked at her website, which she had just launched. I looked at the way she was talking in some of her newsletters. And it became very clear to me that there's a stage of the client attraction process that she was stuck in. I'm going to get to it. She was stuck in stage 2 and 3. And then it kind of dawned on me, like, this is where I see the continuity of people being stuck. 80% of the coaches that come into my world are kind of stuck in a very similar stage, spinning their wheels, wondering why all their effort isn't translating to clients. And so today I'm going to walk you through the 5 stages I believe every successful coach moves through to create a client attraction strategy that actually really works. More importantly, I'm going to show you why stage 2 into 3 is where most coaches get trapped and why they feel frustrated, and what you can do to break free of this. Because what I've learned after working with all these amazing people is client attraction isn't actually random. You don't just like have it or not, or the thing you're coaching on. Like, pretty much every coach I've ever worked with has a solution that people are actually searching for. So this process that I'm going to share with you is a very familiar sticking point and a progression that I see often. And if as I share this, you're like, yes, stage 2 into 3, this is where I'm getting hung up, then I want to invite you to go a little bit deeper on these specific stages with me. I'm going to be doing a free workshop called Why Your Coaching Isn't Selling. And I'm going to be giving you a 30-minute fix that is literally going to change everything for you. And this is happening July 29th. Arizona time, 10 a.m. And I would love to see you there. You can head on over to amanda-walker.com/get clients. And this is going to give you access to sign up for the free training that I'm going to be delivering and really help you move through stage 2 and 3. And so I want to give you kind of this overview. And as you're listening, I just want you to kind of mentally be like, yes, I've been there, or here's where I am now. So stage 1, I'm going to call the visibility stage. This is kind of like the starting line. What this looks like is, I think everybody starts here. This is where you realize, like, I have this gift and I need to put it in front of people. Like, I need to be seen. Like, so you start to create content, maybe consistently. You're starting to post on social media. You're starting to talk about what you do more, and you're starting to build kind of this whole online presence or in-person presence, or both. And the cool thing about this, so the good news is most coaches actually nail this stage pretty quickly. They start to leverage it. And the reason I think, well, the good reason is because this is modeled for us a lot. often we have the perception that social media is the way, and it isn't actually the way. But it's the free way to increase a visibility, right? Like it doesn't cost anything initially for us to be on social media and start to build that presence and to start sharing your expertise. And you can begin to kind of build a viable audience potentially. That's only if stage 2 and 3 are being nailed, but that's okay. Like we can get in there and begin to at least allow ourselves to be seen and be visible and start to build some momentum and credibility. Right. But the problem is that just doing this doesn't necessarily equal clients. If a client doesn't know that you're actually a coach, if you don't talk about your services, if you're not talking the right way that sends a message to them that you are actually a solution, then you could potentially have thousands of followers and still have no clients. And I've seen this happen time and time again. I've talked with people that are creating really cool viral content and they're not monetizing it at all through their coaching or consulting services. And then I've met coaches that have only hundreds of followers and have a built out client roster. So really it's because those 200 followers or those couple hundred followers is the reason they're having a fully booked roster is because they've actually moved through these stages that I'm about to share with you. And they're doing a really great job on them. And so it's not about audience size. It's about, are you really hitting these steps and executing over time? So stage 2 then moves into this credibility phase. And this is where I see so many coaches get stuck. And what I want to say about this is that this is kind of also the struggle of the industry. So I just want you to know you're not alone. We are in this space of influencers and influencer marketing. And so it's very hard to discern from just a surface level gander if the person I'm following is an influencer who's trying to sell her Amazon link or the clothes she's wearing or the supplements versus someone who actually has credibility. And so this is where we kind of lose trust and we have skepticism in the industry and the coaching industry as a whole. And I think a lot of people just stay stuck here because they are not moving through the stages necessary to get them on to the next stage. And so you're visible, but now you're really thinking about, they're thinking, your potential clients thinking, yeah, but can I trust her? Does she know what she's talking about? Is she actually going to get me the right results? In this stage, you're focused on sharing credentials and experience, maybe posting educational content, trying to prove you know the thing and building authority through information. And what's problematic here, why this stage feels so frustrating, is people are engaging with your content. They might even be liking your posts. They might be commenting like, oh, I love what you're saying, but they're not really becoming clients. You're getting the validation, maybe even the applause, the engagement, but they're not really transitioning to paid clients. And here's what's really happening is you've built credibility around your expertise, but you don't really have credibility around the results you're able to get. So people don't doubt like, oh, she knows what she's talking about, but they also don't believe that you can necessarily help them get what they want, right? And here's why I think that many of you might be stuck here is you're kind of stuck in this idea that I just need to keep sharing how-to content and more strategies and more information. And I'm just going to give enough value that people are going to want to work with me. Or your credibility is around being like solving a general problem, but not like a specific problem. You're like, I am a health coach, but people are seeing that as kind of a one size fits all, and they don't see themselves in the potential of you actually being the solution to their problem. Or you're talking about what you know, but you've never really shared the achievement or the validation or the proof that you actually get the results. And they, and if even if you are sharing them, you're not really sharing them in a way that makes new people say like, oh yeah, I want that thing. So stage 2 can feel kind of safe, like you're helping people, you're validating yourself, you have the knowledge. You could even say like, I'm doing all the things, I'm delivering all this value, and you're still not making the money and serving the people that you want. And that is so many of you are stuck in stage 2, moving into stage 3. Stage 3 is this kind of nailing the words, nailing the way you talk to people, nailing what we call the messaging component. For me, this is the shift that begins to change everything when you pair it with the strategic invitation that's coming next. And that is, this is where you actually begin to talk about what you do and how it helps people specifically. And not as though like you're so far ahead, but like you're meeting them where they're at. It's when you start to talk about things, like you start to talk about what you do through the lens of transformation and not just giving them the how to. You speak directly to their pain points and not just general problems. You're sharing client stories and transformations more consistently. And what it's doing unconsciously is your ideal client is like, she gets me. And now what they're starting to do is look for a way to begin to work with you. So what can happen here, or let me give you an example, is instead of just saying like the 5 tips for better sleep, right? That's good. But what could be better is how my client Sarah went from waking up 3 times a night to sleeping 8 hours straight in 2 weeks, right? So it's showing the actual proof that what you do gets people results. And then moving into stage 4 is the strategic invite. This is where then you say, hey, if you want those results too, I am your person. Right? So once you're talking about in the correct way what you do, then you have a way to really invite them in that gives a taste test. For many of you right now, what you don't know, going back to stage 3, is that core problem, is that micro problem. You don't know how to give them a micro win. You don't really even see the results. Like, this is something so key that I teach my people inside the Small by Offer consistently, is you have to understand that there is a big market out there. It's saturated, right? And when you're stuck in stage 2 and feel like you're doing the right things, but there is the messaging is missing and there's no right quick way to really experience working with you, they stay stalled out. They don't take action. They don't come closer to you. And so once you have kind of the messaging dialed in, you can start to say, hey, if you want these results, this is what I do. And that for me is where like the Small by Offer becomes so clear. Is typically like your clients just aren't, it's like dating. They don't just meet you and then move to paying thousands and thousands of dollars. It's rare. It does happen sometimes. But what they're more likely to do is see the proof of your work if you're doing it correctly and then say like, how can I taste test you? And it's your job to give them that micro win, right? It is your job to show them what results are possible, which leads to step 5 is where you just showcase this. You live this, you breathe this. Like I always say, you have this belief in what you have to offer is like, there is no better way. Belief is, for me, it's like the gateway. It's the holy grail of filling your client roster. Is when you believe in what you're doing so much, you talk about it relentlessly, then people are just like, yes, I need that. I need that. Because what happens is you become known for the specific results that you provide. So for me, when you look at these 5 stages, here's the hard truth. You can be the most knowledgeable coach. You can be so good in your niche, and you can still be broke, and you can still not have clients if you're stuck in that stage 2 place, that stage 2 to stage 3 place, because your expertise needs to be shown to them that in a way that builds credibility and authority for what you do and how you talk about it. Like, your ideal client isn't actually looking for the smartest coach. They're looking for the coach that'll help them get the specific result they want. And if you're stuck in stage 2 and 3, you're not conveying that. In fact, you might be even talking about so broadly in intangible ways. Clients get peace of mind, confidence, empowerment. But I don't know as the client that that's actually the thing that I want. I'm not looking, I'm not going to the internet to search how to feel empowered. I'm going to the internet and searching how to say no to my child, how to say no to my spouse, right? Or how to ask for the promotion, how to ask for the raise. In doing those things, I may feel empowered, but it is your job to translate what your client needs in their words and in a way that shows that you are the absolute best authority to acquire that information. I think why many coaches stay stuck in kind of 2 and 3 is that it feels productive. It is like that passive action. It feels like you're doing a lot. You're helping people, you're bringing value, and you're getting engagement, but you're being helpful to people who are really never going to be clients because you haven't conveyed that what you do is irresistible enough for them to transition. And so this is why I am hosting the workshop, because I'm going to share with you a formula that is specifically going to show you why your coaching isn't selling. I'm going to help you get clear on how to build more authority, how to tweak and adjust the messaging. And the one thing, a 30-minute fix that you could literally fix this after the workshop, that is going to be a game changer for your coaching business. So if you, again, didn't sign up, head on over to amanda-walker.com/get clients. That's going to give you the opportunity to go even deeper than I am today and be with me in real time. But I want to share with you kind of an opportunity, a bridge that I've kind of shared these 5 stages. But the question is now, how do I transition like into stage 2 and 3 or past rather stage 2 and 3? How do I get more specific? And how do I clearly communicate that I am the authority and I am the go-to expert in a way that makes sense to them? So I want to share 3 very actionable things that I think that you can do to help you transition out of staying stuck in 2 on the verge of 3 and really move into 4 and 5. Number 1 is you have to understand the problem that you solve, the specific problem you solve, and the solution that you offer, or the promise you can make to your client. This, hands down, is the number 1 reason coaches stay stuck. It's the number 1 reason they don't grow, is that they think they're solving a specific problem because they're so in it. I help people find their purpose. I help people, feel more confident. I help people fully embody themselves, but nobody knows what that is. And so you're constantly feel like you're doing all the things, or you just might be in this constant cycle of trying to find out what that thing is, but the thing is too big. Number 2, actionable step is we want to see your social proof. We want you to work in whatever ways feel good for you, examples and client stories about what you've done to help people have success. Tell me how she went from not fitting in her clothes to wearing any outfit she wanted in less than 30 days. Tell me how he went from yelling at his kids every time they needed him to being able to pause and take a breath and not yell now for over 14 days. Show me the testimonials. Show me the screenshots of things that people have shared in your communities or sent you via Voxer or via email that show your people are getting results. That is the most convincing way to begin to build that credibility and move into the messaging that really pulls them in. And step 3 is give them a taste. This is the most key piece here. This is what I'm going to be diving into the workshop more diligently, is give them a way to build trust and authority immediately. So many of you are trapped in this thinking that they meet you and they immediately are spending thousands of dollars on coaching. That used to work, maybe, but what they need to do is, if you've done a good job and are starting to really nail number 3 and you're able to communicate results and show proof and build authority, is now they're at the edge of their seat, like, maybe I do need to work with him or her. What is that going to look like? And if their only price tag costs them thousands, they may never put a hand up, right? Because there's hesitation, there's skepticism. But if you give them a taste test to solve a micro win in their business or in their life, then that is enough now to create this snowball of momentum where they're like, I can't do without this person in my life. And that makes it really easy for you to invite people in consistently. And I'm going to be walking you through this more deeply on the workshop. This is exactly really what I'm breaking down inside of my free workshop coming up on the 29th as well. So as you listen to this episode, my encouragement is to really reflect, like where am I in this process? And I'm not going to on this workshop be able to diagnose exactly what stage you're in, by the way, but I'm going to give you the roadmap, I think, to what you need in your business. And what I see with my clients month after month is that when they implement what I'm sharing in the workshop, then what I'm going to call activating clients who are like at the edge that are ready to move on becomes so much easier. And so you don't feel like you're spinning your wheels so much, and you start to attract those dream clients consistently. Because here's the truth. Every day you stay stuck in stage 2 or maybe even stage 3, that's where your people are looking for somebody else. Someone who's already figured out, like, oh, stages 3, 4, and 5, that's where I need to go. You have the knowledge, you have the expertise. I know you have it in you. And sometimes we just need some clarity over what that looks like for us to be able to move ahead. So I would love for you to join me on the workshop on the 29th, 10 a.m. Arizona time. Again, head on over to amanda-walker.com/get clients. This is where I'm going to be supporting you to truly understand this very small adjustment that could have massive impact on your coaching business. So until next week, go coach them up.